Pompeii.
Non ci muoviamo ancora. Stiamo il tempo alla signora di fare la fotografia al cane. L'ho fatta? Siamo tutti, ci muoviamo. Sì, ma non c'è problema. Buongiorno a tutti. Molto caldo. Che piacere. Allora, guardate, prima di iniziare la visita dovete vedere dove siamo, vedete? Noi usciremo dalla rotonda, bene? Quindi non torneremo, non faremo mai due volte la stessa strada. Un paio d'ore, così piano piano, guardate la pavimentazione, la strada, passano blocchi di pietra.
Coming from the mountains, Samnites. They've been here for about 300 years. And only in the year 80 before Christ, Pompeii became a Roman colony. In the year 62 after Christ, Pompeii was badly damaged by an earthquake. And you know, Pompeians were going to fix their town when suddenly the volcano Vesuvio waked up. This was in the year 79 after Christ, around 12 o'clock a.m., the 24th of August. So incredible. In only 3 days and 3 nights, Pompeii disappeared from the face of the world. Being formed in Pompeii, no lava, no mud, simply pumice and ash. You know, between the volcano and Pompeii, 6 miles away. The other town, Ercolano, which is at the foot of the volcano, was covered by mud. 60 feet of mud. And by the way, this is why Pompeii is the paradise for the archaeologists. You know, anywhere we go, around Europe, Africa, Oriental places, we have ruins. Roads, theaters, villas, aqueducts. But not a complete town. You know, incredible, Pompeii is now just as it was 2,000 years ago. Same streets. You see villas, shops, theaters. I like to say still alive after 2,000 years. And by the way, Pompeii for those days was quite big. 4 square miles. 12,000 people lived here. And they say more or less 2,000 people died during the eruption. You know, Pompeians died mainly by asphyxia, you know, because of these poisonous gases. And by the way, during the walking tour, we shall see some of them. You know, we have the casts, the molds of these people. Don't you see? So they could cross the streets in a better way. And by the way, you cannot go wrong. You know, the chariot, rectangular shape. Imagine 2 big wheels, so they could go over those blocks. In the middle of the chariot, wooden pole, 2 donkeys. So imagine, 2 donkeys, 2 wheels. So when we have 1 stepping stone, maybe 1-way street. 2-way traffic. You know, incredible, but from this point of view, for sure better organized than down here now. Because on the main square of Pompeii, 2,000 years ago, no traffic. Today, they tell us no traffic in the historical centers, but they don't tell us where we can park. 20 centuries ago, incredible, outside the main gates, they found stabule, stables, parking places, hotels, caupone, restaurants, thermopolia, wine shops, and terme, bad, sauna. So people arriving, they could park, relax, sauna, massage, and then downtown. And what is incredible there, like today in the railway stations, airport, isn't that? Border station, taxi station, and so on. By the way, we know that for sure because it's written on the walls. You know, I do not speak Latin, but they found inscriptions like this: Cisiari Rogant Ovidius, which means the corporation of taxi drivers. Rogant means recommend This is a chap for the next elections. How can you go wrong? So the Association of Porters, Shoemakers, Bakers. Now imagine, if one of you can speak Greek or Latin, maybe you can translate those languages. But believe me, a very few people in the world are able to translate Oscan and Etruscan languages. But my opinion, even if we are not that professional, walking around a few years, attending a few conferences, you feel a little bit archaeologist. Because let's say we go by ourselves in a villa. You see on the walls Egyptian divinities, Isis, Osiris, Horus, lotus flowers. How can you go wrong? Egyptian community. Then we have graffiti like David, Maria, Harem, Vitalis, Sodoma, Gomorrah. By the way, in the books we read Vesuvius destroyed Pompeii. Is not that correct? The volcano which destroyed Pompeii is the one on the right, the little one. The one on the left, Vesuvius properly called. Hola, un poco de calma, tranquilidad, gracias España. Okay, very noisy like Italians, Spanish. By the way, imagine, we have a painting depicting the volcano before the eruptions, and there is only one top, not two tops as today. Everything was going up, falling again into the crater of Somma, forming the cone of Vesuvius. And by the way, as you are from America, I've been reading that the eruption of 79 very similar to the one of Mount St. Helens. Same kind of eruption. They say more or less the eruption was like this. Because of the pressure, this ash, pumice, gases, imagine, went up to the sky. They say 10 miles away in the air, forming like a big mushroom. These, they say, lasted more or less 18 hours. So that's why they say the Pompeians who left their town during these hours, they moved away nicely and safely. No problem at all. The ones who remained longer, no chance. Because when the pressure finished, all this stuff has been collapsing. And as the wind was blowing north-south, 60 miles an hour, temperature 300-400 degrees, so that's why the ones who remained longer. Saddam Hussein, Romans did exactly the same way. If an emperor, a magistrate, did not behave properly, the Senate of Rome disqualified them. They say penalty, damnatio memoriae, which means forget about it, ignore him. So if we have writings, epigraphies, erase everything. Monuments, pull everything down. But if the monument was a nice piece of art, too well made, instead of ruining everything, they simply cut the head and they replace with a new one. At the very end of this street, we have the amphitheater for 25,000 people. A little curiosity, in the year 59 after Christ, in there took place a terrible fighting between local people and the ones coming from a town nearby. Many people got killed. Then the Senate of Rome decided no more games in this place for 10 years. We have a if you have seen the film The Gladiator, the Roman Emperor Commodus. According to many historians, one of the first striker in the world has been Commodus, so nothing new. And by the way, I don't want to be horrible, but it's not my fault, but Pompeii was a very naughty town, like Sydney and San Francisco. So that's why some words of Pompeii, Sodoma and Gomorrah. By the way, all the way down there we have a winding street, the red light district. Nothing special. small places on the ground floor closed by curtains. For those who had no time, let's say emergency love. They imported it. Carrara, Egypt, Minor Asian, and the 2 Greek islands, Paros and Eubea. But see the details, it's fascinating. See? Birds, flowers, see a rabbit, a snail, a peacock, a grasshopper, a mouse. By the way, this was the bull market and the seat of cleaners and dyers. As you know, in those days, mensa ponderaria. The main square was like a flea market on Saturday. So people could come here to buy and sell goods, as we do today. But, in those days, maybe better organized. Today, everybody keeps arguing, shouting. They say the weight is wrong, you cheat, you don't cheat. In those days, very simple. You don't trust me, don't get excited, relax. We go over there and we check. By the way, this was, can you smell, fish market? You see there was water to keep the fish fresh. By the way, I have never been in Vietnam, but over there they have a sauce called the Nuc Mam, similar to the one they had in Pompeii 2,000 years ago. In Pompeii, anything eating, fish sauce on the top. Now on the Amalfi Coast, in Cetara, they make a copy of it. They make it out of the sardines over there. The taste is good, but the smell is horrible. Now this is what has been covered in Pompeii. Ash, ponds. So imagine what a disaster. 3 days, 3 nights of this stuff, and when the eruption finished, instead of operation, fascinating, original. By the way, see signora that one, see the lady? Maybe that one had to be either from Rome or Athens. See long dress, see the bun? Ladies from Southern, this is a very bad example, but you can have an idea. See the architectonic elements, see the ceiling there? So by watching from here, we have the impression there is much more space. Trompedelia, 3-dimensional. In villas, believe me, sometimes you have something like that, colonnade like this, so we have the impression that it's immense. But anyhow, we didn't change. Today, when we have no space, the goods, in Pompeii you don't find the wood, it was bark. If you go to Ercolano, you see it, because the mud carbonized everything. So it's incredible, but down there we found these doors, folding seats, folding tables, folding beds, roofs made out of oak beams. The boat I told you. Now, if you are archaeologist, how can you talk about wood? You have to be specialist in wood. So that's why I repeat. Depending on your interest, you have to buy a special book for that. Right or left. Every now and then we have these blocks, incredible, you see, to keep the chariots away from the sidewalk, so pedestrians could walk nicely and safely. Then you see by yourself, look, villas and shops all over. And here, mamma mia, very busy street. See the ruts left by the wheels of the chariots. See? And now imagine for how many days you can walk around here. We have villas all over. Now we go to see that villa, so you have an idea of a Roman property. Another demonstration that the economy too good, a house in Pompeii, average 100 square meters. So beautiful. Okay, now let's go down. Inwards, so we had an opening in the middle. So rainwater passing through the roof, called the compluvium, was falling down here, impluvium. From there, through a hole into a cistern. So rooms here. Another one at the top. See? Yeah. So I've been reading that in case of earthquakes, they are a little bit flexible. Very clever. I've been reading that in California now you are using a kind of rubber, so this way is a little bit more elastic. Same idea. the moment that we were not in Pompeii. We could say this is a French garden. You see the design is fantastic. And look at that. That one is Darius from Persia. It's fantastic. This is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. Mosaic. You see, usually, signore, cheap mosaics are in opus tessellatum, which means each tessera same size, same color. This is in opus vermiculatum works. Each tessera, different shape, different color. Look, imagine the work. From outside. By the way, is the villa of two naughty boys. Let's give a look at that. They took the friends there, so everybody could see the erotic games and they could understand what was going on in the villa. Gambling. You know, in Pompeii, they organized cocks and quails fighting. You see, they play dice. This was illegal, but you know, they found dice all over. Incredible, we found some of them loaded for cheating. We didn't change. When somebody died in those days, they organized processions, you know, with the crying people around. Today, down here, in the small places, they behave the same way. You know, they employ these professional ladies more, but this is Italic mentality. You know, Greeks, they didn't care. We die, we go somewhere else. So let's have a nice party. By the way, you know, in Taiwan, in Ireland, they behave like Italic people. I was in Bali, I saw a funeral, everybody does the time, you forget all the time.
Chicken, are you going to start grinding some wheat?
Oh, yeah.
Another bakery.
And the boy there, look.
Se voleva riparare.
See? The sundial. There you have stripes. So according to the shade, they could check the timing. And by the way, curiosity, see, we didn't change. On the column there, we have a plaque with some names. Are the names of the two boys who gave the sundial to Pompeii. Maybe hoping like that to